You walk in tired and hungry, one bad dinner away from losing it. You don't like to cook. You don't want more takeout. You just want something good. That's why there's Dish by Blue Apron. Pre-made meals with at least 20 grams of protein and no artificial flavors or colors. From fridge to fork in 5 minutes or less. Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Incident-packed games. Well, sort of. Basel was a bit dull, wasn't it?
Wasn't Brighton horrendously dull from almost start to finish?
Brighton was pretty dull as well. Yeah, you have to say after those 2 games, the loss to Basel, in which United basically deserved to lose, and the pretty prosaic victory over Brighton, I did not see what was coming next.
No, I mean, the Basel game was, we'll do this in less than 2 minutes. The Basel game was strange because in the first half, we just absolutely battered them and it looked like we could score at will, just missed a few key chances. And then in the second half, the dead rubberness of it all overtook United and Basel got that late winner, which they in the end deserved. But, we were really good in the first half of that game. Which everyone obviously understandably kind of forgot at the end of it all. But that game didn't matter at all. The Brighton game mattered a lot more. And we had the Martial and Rashford both in the starting lineup with Lukaku again. This time, not such a feast of football as it had been against Newcastle.
No, it was a tough game. Just something a bit slow about United against Brighton. Just failed to really get going at all, ever. Which didn't really make sense given the nature of the team. I mean, you can really even blame Mourinho for being negative or anything like that. It's just United never really got out of the blocks. And Brighton worked hard, had some good chances. You couldn't exactly say they deserved a draw, but it would be hard to deny them that if they'd taken one of the 5-6 chances they created. So one of those ones where you just go, phew, got away with that.
But it really is Ashley Young FC. That was the thing about that Brighton game that no one knew at the time, is it was setting up an explosion of footballing delight.
Look, I've always told you that Ashley Young is world class, and not only that, I've talked a lot about his end product and productivity, and especially the great value for money he's offered United over the years.
Exactly. The Brighton goal, not his, obviously. One brief thing about the Brighton game. Our boy Juan Mata, apparently, fair to say, a pretty terrible performance from him.
Yeah, have we seen him since? Not sure we have we?
No. Will we see him again? Not sure we will.
Yeah.
Will we?
Well, I mean, look, there have been plenty of players who've played badly in games this season, haven't there? Or under Mourinho generally. So. And sometimes they've been dropped and then they come back.
He's joining Henrik Mkhitaryan in the punishment beating chamber.
Yeah, that's it. You wouldn't beat Juan Mata, would you? He's just too nice.
José Mourinho's already had him in one lot of punishment beating chambers, hasn't he? At Chelsea, so I'm not surprised he's done it again. No, but seriously, Mata was replaced in the starting 11. Oh, a word about the starting 11 against Brighton. Friend of the show, Awate, tweeting, send me a DM beforehand, asking whether this was the most characters on the bench ever, not in terms of big personalities, but in terms of number of letters on the United bench, with McTominay, Mkhitaryan and Ibrahimovic all on the bench, and the fact that Marcus Rocco and Ander Herrera both have their full name on their shirts, and Marouane Fellaini's got quite a lot of letters in it. A lot of letters in the subs. But neither Mkhitaryan or Ibrahimovic in the squad for Arsenal.
Do they still charge per letter on the back of the shirts?
They do not. They have not for quite some time.
Maybe they should again then. So, yeah. Well, look, got away with it, basically. I think. Not only the fortunate goal, Would have been a worldie, of course, if he hadn't taken the deflection to stick it in. But just, the lack of sort of oomph in that Brighton game. Slightly more oomph than in the second half against Basel, because there was, I don't know, can you get negative oomph? There was about that. And then on to Watford, where Ashley Young stole the show. And Jesse Lingard.
I mean, yeah. Maybe the two most criticised players in the team. No, I mean, Matteo Darmian will deservedly take top spot there. But Young starting it with that really fantastic shot. Kind of went through a load of legs, just drilled it low and hard. But then he got his Beckham on, it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's amazing watching that from directly behind the free kick, because he sets it out towards the middle of the goal. And he bent it like Beckham, went like a banana into the top corner. Absolutely outstanding. Has he ever done? He's never scored a free kick for United before, has he?
I'm pretty sure.
Remember it.
Was there one of
the only goal he ever scores for United is when he cuts inside and bends it into the top corner. Apart from the one he scored against Watford, where he smashed it into the bottom corner.
Yeah, well, he's got new tricks, hasn't he? He hasn't quarter circle forward hard kick. Done his special move for a long time, like cutting in, curling into the far corner. Maybe he's forgotten how to do it. He's definitely been in excellent form. Like he's been decent at left back for a while, and he was brilliant in that Watford game. Like he was just, I mean, obviously it would do a lot of good for his confidence to score that first goal, but he was excellent defensively, and the free kick was just breathtaking. Mourinho's reaction, the GIF doing the rounds. What an amazing, looking like what just happened? Ashley Young just curled a perler into the top corner.
Yeah, I mean, and goals coming from all over the pitch. Lingard got a beautiful solo goal, absolutely cracking. Martial scored as well. Yeah, I mean he could do his one. Just a shame that Lukaku didn't get one. He's got like one in 12 games or something now, which is rather worrying.
Well, I'm not worried at all, to be honest. I thought Lukaku's hold-up play, or not necessarily hold-up play, but all-round play against Watford was absolutely fine, and same again against Arsenal. So I'm not buying this rather knee-jerk narrative that's doing the rounds that Lukaku's a busted flush because he hasn't scored. Like, he scored a hatful first off, then we kind of really cooled off in general, and he got very isolated and maybe didn't play so well for a couple of games. That we'll give him that, but I think he's been an integral part of United's attacking setup in these two games where we've scored 7 goals. I guess with the Watford game, we should talk about the goals in the order in which they came, because that was so key to that game. Martial scored and we were 3-0 up and absolutely cruising. But actually, before Young's first goal, Watford had looked quite dangerous, and I think a lot of us had felt that game was... I mean, if we'd done a show, and sorry that we didn't, by the way, I don't know how we've ended up on this fortnightly schedule for the last few weeks, but we will fix this. If we'd done a show, I think we'd have talked about what a potentially difficult game this was, and Watford did look impressive, but then just raced into a 3-0 lead. But I have to say, all the way through that, I thought, if we concede one, this is going to get really shaky really quickly.
Well, when Tom Cleverley's your holding midfielder. I mean, Watford are very open, and you can see they shipped 4 against us, 6 against City, 4 against Liverpool or Chelsea, or maybe both. I can't remember. They've conceded quite a lot of goals this season, and most of them come in just the games against some of the big sides. So. And it's because they're just a little bit open with this sort of 3-4-3 formation that they play. But they're very good against sort of mid-ranked teams, and they'll be fine this season. And Marco Silva will complete the season with them and move on to a bigger job, I assume. But this was another one of the ones where their back line got torn apart.
But it was the kind of point I was trying to steer towards was just how shaky United looked the second a goal went in.
Yes, I mean, the foot clearly came off the gas in the second half, didn't it? And then Deeney scored, and Decore scored just a couple of minutes later, really. And it did look for a moment that Watford, the comeback was on, didn't it? Until Lionel Jesse came up and scored his beauty.
Messi Lingard. What a goal! What a goal! People talking about people talking mess about that goal because he didn't exactly beat 4 men. But he effectively did. Picked up the ball in his own half in the dying embers of a game in which he'd run his socks off from start to finish, ran, a good solid, more than a third of the length of the pitch, and then ran into the defenders and made the decision to kind of pull them out of position. And then he kind of made space for another player. He could have passed it, but he instead, the cool finish. And Jesse Lingard is on fire at the moment.
Yeah, another one against Arsenal. And
so, which of Jesse Lingard's wonder goals is Jesse Lingard's best wonder goal? Because most of his goals, not including today, a great number of his goals have been wonder goals, haven't they?
They have. He's got a really high goals to wonder goals ratio, hasn't he? I'm thinking the one in the cup final, cup semi-final.
Final.
Cup final.
The one where he just whacked it.
Yeah.
It bounced up to him and he just whacked it. Yeah, that was the final. That was the winner in the final, in fact.
Because of the moment.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I mean, this after obviously it's not a cup final, but this was a big moment because United were rocked when they went down to 3-2. They were rocked when they went to 3-1. I said to you in the WhatsApp, I'd been this close, and I'm putting my fingers quite close together, as this is an audio feature, this close to tweeting out which of our back three is going to concede a penalty tonight, and putting a poll. But then I was like, oh, this is way too negative. But of course, one of the back three did, in fact, concede a penalty. I think it was Smalling, right? I had my money would have been on Rocco, but it was Smalling on this occasion.
Well, Rocco is a yellow card waiting to happen, isn't he? Yeah, I mean they've definitely all got a mistake in them. Although look, they've done okay. I mean, they only conceded one against Arsenal of Arsenal's 33 shots.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's on the back three. I'm not sure you can praise the back three in a game in which David De Gea literally broke the Premier League record for saves.
Yeah. Shall we move on to... We had nothing more to say again about Watford, really. Good confidence-building win.
It was an interesting change of system. I think possibly... I mean, if we'd won that game 4-0, it would have definitely flattered United in terms of performance. And the kind of the extent to which the back three are open and vulnerable, especially when Nemanja Matic is not playing brilliantly, as he definitely didn't against Watford, came off after an hour, I think, with a bit of a minor knock. But he looked leggy and tired, I thought, in that game. And actually, there were a few signs. Obviously, the attack was absolutely sensational. Beautiful to see Martial score. The young goals were great, but there were signs of potential trouble ahead. But in fact, it doesn't matter because David De Gea.
I mean, he's just outstanding, isn't he? Mourinho said after the Arsenal game, I told him what I've seen there is the best goalkeeper in the world. No doubt about that, is there?
Nah, surely not. I mean, I don't watch a lot of Manuel Neuer, and.
Well, no one does at the moment because he's got his leg in plaster or whatever it is.
There are other good goalkeepers, I'm sure, but David De Gea he's just unbelievable. 33 shots Arsenal had. 33 shots. 15 shots on target. An XG of just under 5. For Arsenal, 5. I know people debate stats and all this kind of stuff, but whatever you think about the nature of statistics, the basics of if a team has an XG of 5, it meant they had some really, really, really big chances in that game.
Yeah, they did, and they scored one of those really, really big chances. I had the dubious pleasure of watching the game on Premier League TV. And the feed always has Jim Beglin in there, whose summary after the game was basically Arsenal were the moral victors. He couched it in slightly different words than that. I was like, yeah, right. So I'm not normally much of a wind-up merchant, but I decided to text every Arsenal supporting person I know, specifically because of Beglin, just to get the wind-up on.
The thing is, I don't know how anyone can claim that as a moral victory when United were 2-0 up after 11 minutes. Because going 2-0 up after 11 minutes phenomenally affects the pattern of play for the rest of the game, doesn't it?
Well, especially with this United side, because, would anyone doubt that if United were basically handed a 2-goal lead because of some shocking defending from Arsenal, that a Mourinho side wouldn't, basically retreat into itself, which is exactly what United did. Arsenal ended with 75% of the possession. Which is, we might not have been that surprised if we were told that before the game, to be honest. But especially not given United scored 2 early goals. I think Mourinho probably wouldn't have been happy with the amount of chances conceded. He would have wanted to stop the source. And actually, Arsenal created some good chances inside the area. That's why their XG is so high. Thankful in the end to David De Gea. It wasn't the perfect sort of parking the bus defensive performance, but I think the pattern was pretty predictable.
Yeah, it wasn't even a good parking the bus defensive performance, was it? Like you can't really say it's a good defensive performance if you concede that many big chances. But it was an absolutely. First of all, like the opening goal, Valencia does brilliantly. It was poor defending, like you say. Czech should have done better as well, I think. Maybe he saw it very late, I don't know. But yeah, it's poor defending, but Valencia does really well. And the second goal, United play, that's an absolutely sumptuous passage of play, like one of the best goals we've scored all season as a team. So Jesse Lingard, the thing that even the people that kind of have a go at him would still acknowledge, he harried his man, which kind of caused him to lose the ball. Lukaku picked it up. I think did Lukaku knock it straight out to Pogba, or was it back? I think it was. And then Pogba fed it into Martial, Martial's touch for that goal. And the fact that this is one of Lingard's really underrated qualities, I think, or maybe undervalued qualities, is how well he can hang with the real proper ballers in the team. Because what Martial did in that moment was so finesse and so delicate, it could easily almost confuse the forward. But Lingard is totally ready for that, and his composure for the finish was absolutely excellent. That goal was like a dream goal, really, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, great composure, and he's not always had that, has he? But he makes very good third-man runs, Lingard, I think. And I think that's why Mourinho likes him in that number 10 position, because he is going to break ahead of midfield, and that's exactly what's got him the goal there. And you're right, a beautiful passage of play. Should never have had the ball, honestly. If I was the Arsenal manager there, I'm going to be pretty sickened by giving the ball away in the final third like that. But United took full advantage and then defended their own box for the next 79 minutes plus 5 of injury time.
And Arsenal are a funny side because there is a lot of talent in that team. But they're just, I don't know, the first really big goalmouth scramble, I think that was the one where it bounced up. Maybe it bounced up and hit the bar, maybe. Not the one where the second big goalmouth scramble where De Gea did the miraculous double save. Mm-hmm. The second one almost doesn't make sense even when you're watching slow motion afterwards. Just somehow uses his leg to do what Peter Schmeichel would have used his whole body to do and kind of close down the angle for Sanchez. But just that United's defence was in a complete panic as soon as there was a great deal of pressure applied on them, really. And
yeah, no, I think that's right. And a lot of desperate defending and a lot of relying on the goalkeeper. Having said that, United actually had some good opportunities on the break. One where Lingard's hit the post, a very good opportunity, and one where Pogba popped up on the right-hand side of the box, just needed to cross it to Lukaku and Martial coming in and kind of scuffed his cross.
Yeah,
and that would have been an open goal as well. So, some good opportunities on the break, as you'd expect, really, with Arsenal pouring forward and always been vulnerable to that kind of thing historically. Might not mean anything, but it's true. So could have saved it a bit earlier than this. To be honest, once Arsenal got that goal just after half-time, I thought United were going to lose. I just couldn't see how mentally they could get out of defending their own box and not defending it that well. But up pops Jesse Lingard again to save the day.
up pops Paul Pogba as well. Like Lingard did brilliantly with the run, but reminded me of the opening goal against Newcastle when United were behind. Just Pogba's, you mentioned him scuffing that other cross, but that ended up being his second assist of the game, Pogba, and it was brilliantly composed, brilliantly skillful, brilliantly strong. And just a wonderful cross and picked out Lingard perfectly, and Lingard had kind of pulled himself away from any defensive attention for that tap in, and it was absolutely magnificent. And he was looking like Pogba would have been a kind of potential competitor to De Gea for man of the match with those 2 assists, and generally like a lot of very
he was outstanding, Pogba, and for 74 minutes.
Yeah, and then the one real big downside of this game happens, and Paul Pogba was sent off. What did you make of all that?
Well, I mean, first thing is he's going to miss the derby next weekend, and whatever else comes after that, which I can't really remember. But,
so it's Bournemouth at home and West Brom away afterwards.
Okay. We can live with those. The derby's a big one. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you want to be really half glass empty, you'd say, well, we're going to lose that one anyway. But you want your player. I mean, this is Paul Pogba. The criticism of him from some quarters has been that he hasn't stood up in the really big games. This was United's biggest game of the season, I guess, or one of them, and he was majestic until he just let the ball get away from him. And he's left his leg in there, and I think in slow motion it looks horrible, and it is horrible. In real speed, I don't know that he could have pulled out. I definitely don't think it's deliberate, but it's definitely a red card because his studs are up and it's dangerous, and the rule's pretty clear about that. But I'm not sure he's trying to. I'm pretty sure he's not trying to do that.
I don't think he's trying to do it at all, but I think the notion that kind of there was nowhere else he could have put his leg. Bellerin sort of almost forced him into the stamp with his weird leg position. I don't think even watching it in real time, he stretches his leg so far and he's not that near the ball. I mean, maybe he kind of, what I mean by that is kind of when he's landing his leg, he's, like you say, it's so reckless. There's one of the reasons he couldn't have pulled out is because he overcommitted to a dangerous challenge,
Yeah, but still. Well, it's a shame because he's just come back from injury and he doesn't need a break. But he's going to get a break for a couple of weeks. Maybe we'll head off to Dubai and recuperate some more or something like that.
I mean, Matic ironically really does look like he needs a break, and he is not going to get one because he's going to be vital against City now.
And presumably Ander Herrera comes into the team, but it's definitely not the same player, is it? No, although United will be doing basically this against City. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a big defensive performance. The problem is City aren't nearly as vulnerable on the break as our Arsenal, and they're very, very comfortable playing against teams who play this way.
I also think if City have 5 XG in a game, they're probably going to win it.
Yeah. Still. I mean, look, I'm sure this scoreline and the nature of the game has boiled a lot of piss around. And just imagine United park the bus and Fellaini heads one in the 89th minute, or handles one in, or something like that. Wouldn't it be awesome?
Elbow, backspinning elbow.
Yeah. He handles it in off the ref's head.
The Pogba incident, they were pointing out on BT Sport after the game that it came just a few moments after he seemed to have a bit of a spat with Rui Faria and Mourinho about some tactical instructions, and he was kind of doing a bit of flappy arms on the pitch, and it's kind of interesting. You wonder whether there was just a slight loss of composure there. You could be reading too much into that, but it definitely looked fairly plausible to me. Arsenal probably should have had a penalty as well, right, in that game?
Possibly even 2, actually. So Welbeck's turn definitely caught by Darmian, and then was it Sanchez taken out by Valencia late on? Possibly could have had 2. I mean, so. at this point we're just rubbing it in, aren't we? Not only 5 XG, but probably 2 penalties they should have had 2. I mean, I haven't seen Arsenal Fan TV, but I'm sure there's some meltdown going on there.
it's United's standard victory at the Emirates, isn't it? It reminded me of the most hilarious game in football history, the game where we beat them 2-0 in the Van Gaal's first season, when they racked up shot after shot after shot in the first half, and then we just kind of bang got them twice on the counter in the second, and that was all done. But yeah, it was brilliant that day as well. Although no, that day, if I remember, a lot of the shots were kind of straight at him a little bit. He made a lot of saves, but nowhere near as the record-breaking number of saves that he made in this game. 14 saves.
Reports coming out this week that he's not interested in a move to Real Madrid. Why would he want to go anywhere else, he says. Good. So say reports.
Good lad. I mean, to win stuff. we win trophies, it's fair to say. 3 trophies in the last 2 years and a bonus community shield. But they're not necessarily the trophies that he wants to be winning, are they?
No, and of course, he wants to be winning the league and he wants to be winning the European Cup. And United aren't going to win the European Cup this season. And the league, you would say, is probably doubtful. We'll wait until after next weekend's game. And so it's going to be one of the cups.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Absolutely. So, I guess we've got so many questions. Should we take some of them?
Sure. Only the good ones, though.
Okay. Any more that you wanted to say about that Arsenal game before we do?
No, but I enjoyed it. That was good.
It was
wasn't
great
it?
fun.
I mean, there's something nice about. I think if it was the other way around and United had played like that, I'd be fuming. But there's just something. Mourinho pisses me off a fair bit, but there's something beautifully Mourinho-esque in beating an Arsenal team that's had 75% possession and 30-odd shots, and beating Arsene Wenger, who will tonight go to bed thinking he's the moral victor, and the evil doer that is José Mourinho scored a victory over him again.
Yeah, and nice for us to get a win over the top 6, although I'm not sure Arsenal should count in those statistics. Not because they're not a top 6 team, just because they are so easy for Manchester United to beat. All right. First question, I like this one because it forwards the same hashtag agenda. It's on the same page as me here. At Dakeens, Mike Keeney says, am I the only one who thinks Lukaku's been very good the last few games? Ignoring his goal scoring, the all-round game's been excellent for me. Won 11 aerial duels against Arsenal. And there was one touch in the first half during a counter-attacking move, a ball around the corner. It was absolutely beautiful. Like I said earlier, I'm just not worried about his performances. The goals will come.
Well, maybe they will. He's not even getting any chances, though, at the moment. So, look, his performance was fine. There was one occasion towards the end of the game when he had a chance to break and it sort of bounced off his shins and went behind. He's never going to be. Never going to be as neat in possession as some of the really top technical strikers. That's okay. He did great things. He ran at pace at players. He ran into the channels. He's doing all right with the link-up play. His performance level wasn't bad. He's still a £75 million striker. It's got to be worrying that he's got 1 in 12. Come on.
I mean, honestly, genuinely, I don't find that worrying at all. I would if it was his first 12 games at United and he'd gone 1 in 12. But, when United were creating chances for him regularly, he was taking them regularly. And he has. It's not that he hasn't missed any chances in the period in which he's had a dry spell. But my goodness, he's kind of making more chances than he's being provided with at the moment. Like there was one where he kind of bust down the right in this game, beat a man. Was it Monreal? I think he beat and put a cross in. Like he's one of the better crosses in the side. Somehow, I don't know. I don't think it's worrying in terms of how United are playing overall, but I don't think it's that worrying in terms of how Lukaku's playing. Because if he'd been missing hatfuls of chances, we'd maybe having a different conversation. But our attack as a collective has been looking good again since Pogba came back. Really, the goals are coming. They're coming.
Well, I'm not sure it did against Brighton or Basel. Or Chelsea.
It did against... Pogba didn't play against Chelsea, right? No, Pogba didn't play against Chelsea.
Did he not? No.
Against Basel, our attack looked really excellent in the first half, like created loads of chances. Brighton was definitely a strange aberration, but I wonder how much of that was about just a trip and a bit coming after an away game in Europe and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, apart from Brighton and the second half against Basel, we've looked pretty good since Pogba came back.
Well, I guess we won't have to be good against Moscow in midweek, will we? What's the goal turnaround? 5, I think it is, for United to got to lose, and there's going to be a 5-goal swing to not win. So I'm guessing the under-17s, like you wanted, will play against that one. So maybe Lukaku won't get the chance to score there. I don't know. I think for any striker who wants to feel good about himself has to score goals. I'm sure of it, and it's okay saying his performances were good. And some of them were not against Chelsea, it wasn't, or against Basel, actually, but against Newcastle and particularly against Watford and Arsenal, pretty lively. But 1 in 12, that is worrying, and let's hope he gets some against City next weekend. Seems unlikely.
Well, I mean, I'm not bothered about whether he scores against City, to be honest. That's not like I'd like him to get a hat trick against Bournemouth. That would be good. But we'll come on to the future in a bit. We'll just have to agree to disagree about whether it's worrying or not. @_Taylor Ben, friend of the show, says, "What is a milli rock? A milli rock on every block, Ben. Just Google it. That's a way better source of milli rock information. It's a dance move. There are associated tunes. It's the whole thing. This is like when people were asking what a dab was." United's attack, always educating people about the culture. Will United ever look comfortable in a 3-4-3? It should work, but we never look comfortable playing that way, says @TKTibs22.
Depends what you mean. Comfortable defensively, not really against Watford or Arsenal. So that's about right there. Chelsea just didn't perform at all. I'm trying to think of a performance that was good. I mean, Moscow away with 3 at the back was pretty good, but I'd say generally, and this is a generalisation, under Mourinho, it's not looked that good, but Mourinho likes the solidity, or he just doesn't trust his defenders.
I mean, it's funny though, isn't it? Because it seems to just generate more opportunity for confusion among his defenders.
Yeah, well, especially when you got 3 flakesters like Lindelof, Rojo and Smalling in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether I agree that I don't know if Lindelof gets to be in that elite pantheon of flakesters that Chris Smalling is the captain of. Like, we've seen Smalling over a long enough sample size that we know for sure Smalling is a flakester. Left out of the England side, gave a quote saying something like he knows what it takes, he knows what top defenders have to do, having been at United for so long. I'm like, you might know what they have to do, son. But this is a knowledge and application differential here, what we've got here. Anyway, I wonder whether United wouldn't just be more solid at the back with a back 4, but actually in terms of especially the kind of the lack of natural width in the attackers means that playing fullbacks generates a kind of more automatic natural width.
I do think Mourinho likes that as well, and no doubt he'd use his Ivan Perisic defence.
Yes, although Martial, my goodness, what a season he is starting to have. Mick Oosterdal saying, Jesse Sung Park the bus. That's what's coming. It is what's coming. @Hippopotamus2. Oh, I'm sad to hear that Hippopotamus was Hippopotamus 1 was taken. Could have gone with Rhinoceros, but no. He says De Gea performance versus Arsenal greater than Schmeichel versus Newcastle? ? I know you're a huge Schmeichel fan, Ed. What do you reckon?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think I don't remember how many saves Peter Schmeichel made in that game. I don't know whether the stats are available for that, but this one wasn't quite as big because that one came at a pivotal moment in the season when United were chasing Newcastle down. Or was it even later in the season than that?
March.
March. There you go. So probably bigger in the context of winning the title.
Yeah, bigger. Whether it was better or not, I don't know. I am, like I said, I'm increasingly convinced David De Gea might just be Manchester United's best ever goalkeeper. But yeah, Schmeichel versus Newcastle. The thing about that performance wasn't really the quality of it, although that was very high. It was the sheer clutchness of it, to borrow a term from American sports. To borrow and simultaneously butcher a term from American sports, because I don't think they say clutchness, do they? I like this question from Alec Hudson at AliHud42. What will be the sequence of events that makes young Force Ozil out of the team next season?
Well, just for Ozil to go disappear for like 12 games when he's decided he wants to move to Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, lots of talk. I mean, Ozil, big hug with Anthony Martial at the end of the game, big hug with the United bench. You know, it's all a bit flirty, isn't it? There was that Griezmann and Ozil tweet exchange. Lots and lots of rumours ongoing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not really young, but can he get Jesse Lingard out of the side?
Well, that brings us to a question from @Pete of All Trades. Definitely friend of the show. Says, is Jesse actually our best number 10 for the big games? Presses better than Mickey or Mata and seems to execute Jose's instructions better than most. Which, you know, I can't help thinking that a functioning Mkhitaryan would be really helpful. Like last season, there were games in which Mkhitaryan and Herrera were an awesome interception unit. They just pressed brilliantly together. But Lingard is clearly, whatever else he is, he's clearly our number 10 in the best form at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, right now, yeah. He's not a natural number 10 in the kind of classic number 10, put your foot on the ball and spray passes around. He doesn't control a game like that, but he's more like an 8.5, isn't he, when he plays there? He's going to burst forward, he's going to get ahead of the ball, he's going to make those third-man runs, he's going to do it at a pace. And he scores some goals.
Well, if you're playing the Rank Cast drinking game, there's not been any Rooney bashing so far, so you're safe on that front. But Ed has talked about how one of our number 10s is not a classic number 10 who gets his foot on the ball and sprays passes around. Going to say that 6 weeks.
Can we do some Rooney bashing?
Yeah, no.
In the week that he scored one from the halfway line.
We can't do any Rooney bashing because he just scored a hat-trick which featured an absolute wonder goal. What a hit.
I thought it was just a Hollywood pass that went wrong, to be honest.
Thing is, legitimately, I was watching that game for the first 10 minutes and he tried a Hollywood ball and it was terrible. And I was like, oh, God, I'm so glad he's gone. Such a relief. And then he missed a penalty as well. It's like, see? But then, of course, he nodded the penalty home.
What have they not seen, Rooney on penalties? I mean, please.
But the thing about Wayne Rooney is, part of the whole Rooney thing is that there was a time when he was an absolutely unbelievably good footballer, and I still love it when brilliant Wayne Rooney shows up. And the contact he made, first of all, Joe Hart is hilariously bad, which is always fun. Joe Hart being bad is always funny. But he kind of passes it out to Rooney, and just the kind of the confidence, the surety, and the technique to be able to hit 21st century football like that, the kind of perfect bend and dip that he got on that ball that was kind of bouncing at some speed towards him. He didn't control it first, did it first time. What a goal.
Oh no, it's an absolute beauty. I did post some shithousery on Twitter which got a lot of people wound up. I mean, please. I think I asked which was the better goal, the one where he shinned the overhead or misplaced the Hollywood ball.
It's just mean at this point.
Yeah, I know, but it winds a lot of people up, so it's funny. No, it's an absolute beauty. I think that may be his best ever goal. Just the technique to be able to do that with the ball moving towards him at some pace. I think most players would have got too much bend on that and sliced it, but he managed to control it and get the speed.
Newcastle 2005, though, Ed. Newcastle 2005.
Yeah. That was angry Rooney, though.
That game featured Everton against West Ham, managed by Sam. Well, he wasn't quite there, but let's, for the sake of argument, managed by Sam Allardyce and David Moyes, meaning that both managers had managed both teams and both sets of supporters hated both managers.
Yeah, I know. There's some great stuff tweeted around this week about if you take Allardyce, Moyes, Pulis, Pardiola, and they've all managed the same teams basically, and a lot of complaints about young British managers not getting a chance. Well, the fact is, it's a bunch of old British managers who block in their way most of the time. It's a really very safe choice, isn't it, for Everton to pick Allardyce, or safe as in uninspired?
Yeah, and funnily enough, I think out of all of the recent old British manager choices, this is the only one that I would call low risk, because Moyes to West Ham is a massive, massive gamble. Like, not only a gamble, it's like, I don't know, it's like playing roulette and adding 3 extra greens to it. It's a ridiculous gamble. And Pardew at West Brom, there's absolutely no guarantee of any kind of success with that one, is there? So this is the one decision out of all of these recent ones where you think, well, actually, Allardyce is definitely going to kind of steady the ship and probably get a decent tune out of the squad he's got. We've seen...
but they get more credit if they're called Allardyce and Pardiola and Moyes.
No, but honestly,
I'm kidding.
I know. But what I don't it's just a bit Route 1 banter, Ed. It's a bit of a 2011 banter, that's all I'm saying. But the thing about...
That's pretty much where my banter got stuck.
The thing about it is Allardyce just doesn't quite belong in the same category for me. Maybe I'm just wrong, and for some reason I've got a weird soft spot for Big Sam. I think it's that Fergie liked him so much, but it's almost like, I think it's a bit disrespectful to Allardyce to put him in the same bracket as Pardew and even Moyes, especially in 2017. Like, Allardyce just did another great job at Crystal Palace. He's the only one of them who's come off the back of doing a good job. The England job, he didn't do anything wrong in terms of the management side of it. Before that, he did an excellent job at Sunderland. But Pardew is a complete chancer and a clown, and David Moyes is like a joy vacuum. This is West Ham, of all teams, to inflict David Moyes on. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, Moyes doesn't make any sense. You're right. Yeah.
So that's Rankcast drinking game. Moyes. It's all happening. It's all happening. We should do a fourth Twitter question, since we've just been rambling for ages. At Rich Al Williams says, what's Dave's superhero origin story? I don't know, maybe he saw, he had this toy, and he was standing by a well, and he had this teddy, and it was the teddy bear that he loved so much, and it kind of was his it was his emotional rock in a kind of hard universe. This was the one thing that made him feel safe in the world, and some bullies came and they threw it over his head into the well, and he was like, never again will anything get past me, and then he became David De Gea.
All right.
Seems plausible to me.
Sure.
Lots and lots of questions about how Lukaku is actually doing a lot, which is nice. Man of the Match asks at Uncomfy Silence, and there's a poll here. David De Gea's right foot, David De Gea's left foot, David De Gea's top knot, David De Gea's Amish beard.
Yeah. I can just about take the Amish beard, but the top knot, sorry. I mean, a goalkeeper, it is not right that we have a goalkeeper that good that's got a haircut that bad.
At Special K _2311 says, is Jesse Lingard now a real boy? He is. I mean, quite a lot. He gets talked about as a young player quite often, and some people get very...
He's not that young anymore.
No, but he's still young in career terms. It's like we said about Rooney so often. He's not... He's older than he is. He's older than his actual age. Lingard is younger than his actual age in terms of...
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be playing till he's 40.
No.
At least not at United anyway. He's going to get his move to Everton or Stoke or West Brom or something like that in about 4 or 5 years' time. At
Henry C. Kremples says, is Pogba sending off more important than the result? No. Definitely not.
Well, no, because 3 points. So we'll see if United get spanked by City and then lose to Bournemouth and West Brom or drop points there and are shocking in midfield. Then it might be, but right now, no, points matter a lot.
At Stephen Hendra 91. says, any grounds for appeal? I guess he means about the Pogba red card. I'm going to say no.
No, because even if we don't believe he tried to do that, it's he's not in control of himself, and it's a dangerous tackle. So law's quite clear on that one. It's the red card is right. So I think there are no grounds at all.
And then another Pogba question kind of related, and a really interesting question that I don't know the answer to. So I'd be really interested in your thoughts on this. At Cray, no, I'm just going to go with Crane Go. Says, what do you think we need to do to stop relying so much on Pogba?
Well, I mean, it's a bit like saying Barcelona rely too much on Lionel Messi. You know, if you've got a brilliant player, you've got a brilliant player. So not sure that's a problem, but just generally up the quality of the squad.
Yeah, and particularly up the quality of available options in midfield. I mean, I don't know what the deal is with Herrera. I don't know, is this it now? Is he finished? That seems unlikely.
No, he's just signed a new contract, so clearly not.
Yeah.
He's not having anywhere near as good a season as he was last season. And that's a shame, but there's a lot of the season to go, so maybe he'll come back into form. And we could really do with him to provide that energy. Matic was having a very good season. I think he's had a bit of a dip. Played a lot of football, could do with a rest, probably. And beyond that, there are not very many good options.
So, yeah, I think improving midfield options is how we become less reliant on Pogba. You know, interestingly, if Andreas Pereira had stayed at United on instead of going on loan to Valencia obviously having a very good season, and he's played, and before this weekend he'd played 416 minutes of league football. I wonder whether he'd have played, I think he'd probably played around that if he'd stayed at United, but that might have not been predictable at the start of the season. Two questions which are extremely related. At 88_Gilly88, I'm going to censor his question and just say, how did we win that? But then at Rory Murph 1 saying, at what point do we start talking about David De Gea as the greatest sports person in history? And I think that's how we want it.
Yeah, no, not yet. Not yet. But, you know, there's the good argument, and we can come back to this again and again for when he becomes United's best ever keeper.
I think it's happened. I think we don't want to admit that it's happened because of nostalgia and because of how much we won with other keepers. But I think just, if you ask me right now, do I want prime De Gea, prime Schmeichel, or prime Van der Sar in goal? I want prime De Gea in goal.
Schmeichel lift that European Cup.
No, but so did Van der Sar. But that's, you know,
but Van der Sar also left his near post wide open for Barcelona to score past him twice into European Cup finals. So I'm not having that cancelled out.
But Schmeichel made so many errors. Like, he was an amazing goalkeeper, but he did have an absolute rick in him.
I don't believe it. I only ever remember one.
At Maz_man_UTD, last question of the show, friend of the show. This was a great game. I was terrified. I did not enjoy this feeling. Love the win, but when we win a boring game, it's far easier on the nerves. Am I anti-football? I think José Mourinho and you would agree wholeheartedly about what kind of games are good and what kind of games aren't.
Yeah. I think the games that are good are the ones that we win 5-0 and play champagne football. It just doesn't happen very often.
Well, no, 5-0 doesn't happen, but 4. I was a bit slightly annoyed we didn't get a 4th against Arsenal. Oh. Just for the kind of what's the word? Symmetry of it.
I was thinking another S word there because yeah, it'd have been totally unfair, but very beautiful if it happened.
But it was nice that we got 4 against Watford as well. Just adding another, I think we've had a 4-2 already this season, but nice to get another 4-2 in there among the scorelines in which Man United score 4. We just do it all the time. That's why we didn't record a podcast after the Brighton game, because we weren't able to function, given that United had played 2 games and not scored 4 in either of them. Normal service resumed now. Now, of course, we've got 2 games coming up. One of them, there's a fairly decent chance we'll score 4 goals in. And one, I think it's fair to say, is relatively unlikely that we're going to score 4 goals in. Got anything you want to say about the Moscow game?
Yeah, I think it'll be quite tight. You're right. It's probably unlikely that we'll score 4 in that one. Yep, but the City game, oof. No, Moscow doesn't matter. I'm sure there'll be some changes. They're not a very good side. United can afford to make changes and get away with the draw or something like that. Even if they lose, there's got to be a big swing, which could happen because it's a big swing to Basel, isn't it? So Benfica are not very good either. So I suppose in theory there's a risk. It's not much of a risk though. So I'd make a lot of changes for that game and try and keep everyone as fresh as possible for the City game. Unfortunately, they can't play the system anymore, can they? Because, Pogba's definitely out of the City game. In the past, they'd have appealed spuriously just to get him available for this one. But no option for that, sadly.
Yeah. Oh, dear. I mean, the Moscow game is whatever. Like, if we blow it, all I'm asking is that we blow it badly enough that we're not in the Europa League. That's all I'm asking. But I don't think we will blow it.
I don't think that's possible, is it?
Oh, no, you're probably right. Of course it wouldn't be possible because the top three are the top three in that group. So if we do blow it, okay, now I've changed my mind. That game is incredibly important. We should play our full strength team in that game and just play the under-17s against City.
I think we'd have to lose something like 6-0 and for Basel to win by 3.
Okay.
To make third place.
Because it's all about, it's a combination of head-to-head and goal difference, isn't it? And somehow it's like head-to-head, but the games against Benfica are taken out. I think I read that so long as we don't lose 5-0, we qualify, and so long as we don't lose 4-0, we top the group, irrelevant of what Basel do. But you might be right here, Ed. I'm not au fait with the rules at all. They'll tell us ad nauseum on the commentary, won't they?
I'm sure.
I watched the entire Arsenal game with muted, like from before the kickoff. I just didn't have commentary on at all. I just couldn't handle it. And when whoever was the co-commentator awarded Jesse Lingard man of the match over David De Gea, I felt entirely vindicated.
I really wish they'd give you the option to just wipe out. I don't need commentary. I've seen enough games, hundreds of them, thousands of watching games, hundreds of going to games, whatever it is. I don't need some person telling me who's on the ball and Jim Beglin telling me that Arsenal are the moral victors. I'd like just noise from the stadium.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's so strange that doesn't happen. Anyway.
Or maybe they could give the fan channel as well and we could have Howson.
I mean, that's the old Sky Sports thing, isn't it? The Sky Sports fan zone. Terrible. My God, that was terrible. There's two people shouting at each other all the way through the game. It's worse than the commentary. I mean, there have been times. I mean, maybe it was the 2006 World Cup when the BBC had a red button option for no commentary and 5 live commentary, and that was great. But it's strange how the big broadcasters don't do it. I guess they're so concerned with trying to sort of brand their content, I guess. It is really weird because it wouldn't take up any bandwidth at all, really. I mean, it would literally take up some bandwidth, but you'd assume they've got the bandwidth to do it. Anyway, talking of World Cups, the World Cup draw happened, and I was super bummed out that Gary Lineker did the World Cup draws. He said, I've played in loads of World Cups. I'll be fronting the TV coverage for World Cups. What's the difference? And I can't work out what the answer to what the difference is, but there's a difference. It was nice that he wore LGBTQ plus awareness badge. That was great, but still, I don't know. He's been such a critic of FIFA, and they're an organisation that deserves so much criticism, and the Russian government is such a frightening thing at the moment that, I don't know, it just didn't seem okay to me.
Yeah. They're not more frightening than the some other governments around the world, are they? Including their puppets over in the States, as we may well find out soon. Anyway, that's political cast over for 30 seconds. Yeah, Gaz spent most of the time staring at his lovely co-host. I thought, very naughty. As we know, he's a naughty boy.
I can't bring myself to. I was looking at the groups, and it's like, oh, look, it's a World Cup. That's the most exciting thing in the football world, a lot of ways. And yet it just feels so ugly. And there's been so much talk about Qatar 2022 as the kind of pinnacle of ugliness. But with everything happening in the world, this one just feels just as bad to me. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. Every week there is another story of corruption coming out about who got bribed for what votes. So, but yeah, we'll all get excited when Russia and Saudi Arabia
kick off events,
kick off the World Cup. Yeah, sponsored by Gazprom.
I don't think I can watch it.
England. Who've England got? Panama, Tunisia, and Belgium. So probably 2 or 3 points out of that. Going out ignominiously, losing to Belgium in the final game of that group.
They need to get Scholesy back because Tunisia, 98 and all that.
Yeah. Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Uruguay, Morocco, Iran are opening 3 games. Interesting. Portugal, Spain on the Friday night.
That's a banger, obviously.
That's a banger. Got France versus the Socceroos on the Saturday morning. Sure you'll be up early for that.
I'm not going to. I really genuinely don't think I'm going to watch the World. I might do. But
oh, come on. We've got to do World Cup casts.
No, there's no way I'm doing World Cup casts covering this thing. Like, I can't.
You think this World Cup's any more bent than every other one?
I think
there's plenty. I mean, people will go to prison over the Brazil one, and left a massive pile of white elephants. So
I mean, that was
every single one of them are corrupt.
I know, but it's like, at what point do you go? Well, the kind of good shiny distraction of this is outweighed by the absolutely horrific soft power, human rights implications of the whole thing. Like,
yeah, but you watched United when the AIG was sponsoring us.
I watch.
Check out their human rights.
I watch United, who are owned by people that gave 10 times more to the Trump campaign than they gave to the Hillary campaign. So there are degrees about all of these things. That society's a complete mess, but at some point, the World Cup seems particularly egregious to me, and I don't know. I'll probably mellow out about this over the next few months and kind of back down on all this, but for now it just feels like, the whole thing feels really icky. Anyway, talking of feeling really icky, let's preview the derby.
Yeah, it's going to be a banger. United going to come out 2-3-5, absolutely smash City, no doubt about it.
I mean, City are pretty frightening at the moment. It's very annoying that even when they're struggling to break teams down, they're beating people in the last minute. Although not quite as annoying as their manager's reaction after that game.
Yeah. I mean, look, there was a lot of, well, what if Mourinho had done that style comments, weren't there?
But, like, seriously, Ed, what if Mourinho had done that?
I mean, he'd be banned for about a year, wouldn't he?
Definitely everyone would have absolutely lost it if he had. So, in the event that you've somehow been living in a football coverage bubble and somehow missed this story, which has had probably an undue amount of attention, but I say that, it had an undue amount of attention in terms of its overall importance in the grand scheme of football things, but not in terms of how weird it was. So, City play Southampton. Southampton defend really resolutely, really valiantly. And in the end, Raheem Sterling, who's having such a good season, and even though it's City and they're evil, I can't help be a bit happy for him given the way he's treated by the press in this country. So Raheem Sterling scores a last-minute winner, gutted, etc. But Guardiola comes charging onto the pitch and runs towards Nathan Redmond and starts screaming in his face. Now, he was screaming compliments in his face, but that's weird too, Pep. The whole thing was really peculiar.
Well, Mourinho got sent off for creeping millimetres onto the pitch. I mean, literally millimetres outside his technical area, and he got sent off for it. I'd retrospectively ban Guardiola from the country and put David Moyes in charge of City.
And they'll try and make it tough to beat us.
Yeah, that's right.
I think they're probably
right. We'll try and make it tough to beat us because I'm quite sure it's as Tariq Amir, writer for the site, friend of the website, friend of the Rankcast said, Jose would park an Airbus if he could in this game.
So is the pattern of play going to be City have 85% of possession and United desperately try and hit them on the breakthrough? I guess we will play 3 at the back with sort of 2 up front again. I wonder whether, because he's played like fully 2 up front in the last couple of games, but I wonder whether it'll be... No, I mean, because I think he'll play Lukaku, Martial and Lingard again. I don't see why he wouldn't do that, really. So I guess that's sort of, there's going to be 3 people attacking when we counter-attack, but it's going to be Matic and Herrera and Fellaini.
Yeah, unless he really did want to bring another midfielder in, because he's going to play, and he wanted to, because like Herrera, Matic and Lingard as a midfield 3 feels a bit flaky.
Yeah, it is a bit flaky, isn't it? But I mean, of course, like Herrera, Fellaini and Matic is not exactly exciting. But I wonder whether he might play Herrera, Matic and Lingard in the middle with kind of, Lingard as the furthest forward of them. And then...
I just wonder whether United get enough ball for Lingard to be effective. So he might well play Fellaini. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Then play Fellaini ahead of them. Fellaini at 10 with Lukaku as the kind of effective front 2, just not play Martial at all.
Fellaini, the classic, put your foot on the ball, number 10. I mean, look... Young suddenly turned into a world-class left-back, scoring worldies left, right and centre. Yeah. So he could barely get an assist as a forward, including that one time Van Gaal played him at number 9, bizarrely. I don't know what's more freaky, Van Gaal playing him at number 9 or Mourinho deciding he's a left-back. But so maybe Fellaini will turn into that world-class number 10 we always knew was inside him.
It was Van Gaal that turned Young into a number 10. We're not taking the credit into a number 3. Sorry, we're not taking the credit away from Louis for recognising Ashley Young's defensive potential. That was pure Van Gaal. So I guess I can't really fit. You can't see a way that he fits in the 3 in midfield and Martial and Lingard. Unless he plays Martial, Lingard, Lukaku as a front 3, and then Herrera, Matic, Fellaini in the middle, and then a back 4.
Yeah. And the high press isn't actually that effective against City either, to be honest. So it's like... because they're so comfortable with the ball. Stones being out is a bonus, actually, because he's having a good season, but not really from a defensive point of view, from an attacking point of view, because Stones is the one that starts many of the sort of attacks from the back, and Company doesn't quite do the same thing. So there's a bonus there. Maybe there's a chance to put pressure on City's back 4 as a result. I rather think United will just retrench and let City have the ball up to about 40 yards from the goal, and then probably go direct to Fellaini and try and bring Lukaku and one of Martial or maybe Rashford into the game. I suspect Herrera will come in for Pogba and Fellaini will come in for Lingard, and that'll be the team.
The problem with trying to stop City with a low block is just... There's 2 things. Like, when Mourinho did what he did with Inter against Barca, first of all, they had quite a big cushion from the first leg. And second of all, he had a team that was, just on the verge of winning the title, or maybe even had won the title by that point, was incredibly knit together, would absolutely run through walls for him. There weren't too many question marks about their solidity or organisation. And they pulled off one of the kind of great defensive performances of all time. I'm not sure that I rate this United side as ready to pull off one of the great defensive performances of all time. So if we do, I mean, it hasn't worked once. I mean, we got a 0-0 draw against Liverpool, who gave up after 60 minutes and took all their strikers off. The idea that we could somehow succeed in parking the bus against City. I almost feel like Southampton are better equipped to park the bus against City than us.
I mean, the Inter backline then had Zanetti, Maicon, Samuel and Chivu, 4 very high quality players there. And the players to attack on the break, Milito and Eto'o up front. So United definitely got the players to play on the break. I'm not sure we've got a defender as high quality as Walter Samuel.
Well, we definitely haven't, have we? But the kind of overall organisation, the certainty that City have got so many dangerous weapons in their attacking lineup. It is sort of ridiculous how well equipped they are with strikers, and it just feels to me like, I'm not saying that we should necessarily just try and slug it out with them, and we'll score one more than you. I'm not sure that would necessarily work either, because I'm not sure we're going to get enough of the ball. Maybe this is partly just inferiority complex or whatever, but to me this game feels like almost a write-off, which is just a horrible thing to be thinking and feeling.
It's a bit Moyes-esque, that is.
Yeah, it is, and I do not like it, not one bit.
I'm predicting a win.
Obviously you're predicting a win. It's the Rantcast. You are the Mark Lawrenson of this show.
Wow.
Just about this. Just to clarify,
wow.
just about this thing.
Wow.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe you were delighted when Robert Mugabe was removed from power, like Mark Lawrenson, but otherwise...
Was he? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, Mark Lawrenson was weirdly obsessed and delighted about the fact that Mugabe went, which was...
I'm very pleased for the people of Zimbabwe, although I do wonder whether he's just been replaced by mini versions.
Yes, this is it.
Mini Rantcast Politico cast part 2 there.
Yeah. The reality of this game is that it's going to be incredibly tough. There's a reason that City are miles clear at the top of the table. This is the project in full flow, and something is going to have to go really wrong. People were losing the run of themselves earlier today when an interview with Pogba was broadcast, where he said they're going to have to get some injuries for us to catch up. Not like they're going to have to, but like almost like I hope they get some injuries so we can catch up. Fairly tongue-in-cheek remark from Pogba. I'm not sure he was specifically wishing ill on his fellow man in that game, but.
I'm hoping they get about 11 groin injuries through the week.
Yeah. What is United's best route to victory in this game then, Ed? If you were given carte blanche...
Parking the bus, I think. Double deckers all round.
Okay.
Yeah. United clearly aren't going to be good enough in midfield to go toe-to-toe with City's midfield. I'm not sure the high block is going to work against... look, there's a chance with Stones being out to put pressure on, but I just wonder whether City will still be good enough just to play round and through United's midfield, and then the game's stretched and De Bruyne causes an absolute massacre at that point. So I'm pretty certain United will defend deep and try and get something out of the game. Helpfully, Tariq, who I mentioned earlier, did a piece on the site about Mourinho's first experience against Guardiola when he lost 5-0. I'm sure he his point was that it scarred Mourinho, and he changed his mind about how to play. It scarred Mourinho about Guardiola and changed his mind how to play one of Guardiola's teams ever since. And so I'm sure he's right. And United will be parking many buses.
Talking of the site, we ran a competition a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to give people 2 shows worth of space, and we didn't do a show in between, so I might extend the submission deadline. Email us with your submissions to win Eric Cantona's new book and a beautiful print of Old Trafford by @Matthew G. Wood. Matthew Wood, that's GJI. So send us your submissions to cast@unitedrant.co.uk, your best cartoon, and it doesn't have to be well drawn, it can be stick figures. We're just looking for a funny idea, United related cartoon celebrating Eric Cantona's new book, which is called My Notebook, and it is super weird but also good. So yeah, get in touch before the kickoff of the derby, I guess, that we can make that the submission deadline. And the other thing I wanted to say is, Ed, you'd put on Twitter this week that you are after some new writers for the site. Yes.
Well, I've had a particularly insane 6 months with the new kid and being busy at work and all that. So I have been struggling with time. I have to say, lots of things I want to write about and never find time to do it. So I put a call out to have a few writers. I was inundated with submissions, so which is good, and hopefully lots and lots of good writers in that block. But if you want to do some writing for the website. Usual rant rules apply. Nothing in the first person. That's why Paul never writes for the website, isn't it, Paul? And long form analysis. And get in touch, editor at United Rant, or hit me up on Twitter at United Rant.
That's not why I don't write for the... It's in, 4 years of professional sports writing, Ed has taught me out of the first person almost all the time. I just lapse into it very occasionally now. The reason that I don't write for the website is all the writing that I've been doing, although there's a lot less of that happening now. So never know. You never know. I did have an idea and I thought about sending it to you, and then I was like, can't be bothered. True story.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Right then. Now is the point of the show where we predict the scores for the week ahead.
6-0.
Against City.
No. Yeah. I don't want to predict a thing against City. I'm going to go for a 0-0 against City. We are successfully going to park the bus and frustrate Guardiola, and it's going to be 1-1 against Moscow.
I've got a question for you, Ed. Do you sincerely believe that that is the outcome of that game? Is that actually a prediction?
Well, it is a prediction. Do I sincerely believe it? No, I suspect that we're probably going to lose. But I don't want to get all moist about this like you are. So I'm gonna be hopeful and say it's going to be a 0-0.
I'm going full moist. I think we're going to beat Moscow. I'm just re-establishing my optimistic credentials here. I think we'll beat them 3-0 because they'll be bad. And I think City are going to absolutely batter us. That's what I actually think is going to happen. Of course, I don't want it to happen. And I'm kind of even pulling punches a bit when I say I think we're going to lose that game 2-0. But I have to say I would not be surprised at all if it's more than that. On the other hand, I'd be very surprised if it's less than that or if we win. And delighted, of course.
See, you haven't actually beaten anyone 2-0 for quite a while.
Right. All right, I'll say 3-0. Yeah. So, we'll be back with another one of these. Have I forgotten any? I feel like I've forgotten something, but I don't think we have.
No. I think that's it. We'll... bonus content for those that back us on Patreon coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone else, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye now.
The Rantcast is produced by Tom Jenkins and supported by listeners like you. Head to patreon.com/Rantcast to find out more.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.